It's good for dementia residents to be allocated meaningful tasks, not demeaning tasks, in terms of helping around the unit if they're up for it and if they have the ability and they are interested. Now, it does take a bit of training to show someone, a dementia resident, how to do a task in the unit, and then of course they have to remember when to do it. There was one particular resident where I worked and she was excellent, amazing. Every day, 3 times a day, after breakfast, lunch and dinner, she would sweep the floor of the dining room. A fantastic help for staff, and she did it immaculately as well. So that was a great help. She didn't need reminding because observationally she could see when the meal was over, and then automatically through habit she'd get out the brush and broom and away she would sweep and pick up all the crumbs. And part of the team, part of the camaraderie, part of the unit. It's actually really good if a dementia resident can have an activity where they're working with the staff, because of course the staff are going to be grateful. They'll get that appreciation, that camaraderie, that fun factor, that working together, helping out. It just, yeah, it's another level to just sitting in the chair all day. Mind you, there are some residents that keep themselves busy with reading and quizzes and crosswords and things, which is their way of keeping active. But if you've been physically active all your life, it is good to have a meaningful task if you can manage that. Now, another example, there was a man at the unit. He was a prior farmer, loved gardening, and he would water all the flowers on the veranda. Did a good job of it, sometimes though overwatered, so he did need a bit of guidance, and of course needed reminding when to do the watering. But it was very good that he could do that, because it was a help, even though there was some extra input that staff had to give. Now, there was another particular resident, a lovely man. He was very dapper, tall, good-looking, charming, and very helpful in so many ways in the unit. His meaningful activity was sitting with the unwell elderly ladies. He was the most compassionate man. He hadn't been a nurse or worked in a medical facility. Actually, he'd been a businessman all his life. So you wouldn't really have expected him to have had this compassion, but he was remarkable. He would sit with all the unwell ladies. They'd be in the recliner. He'd sit with them for hours, just either talking to them, holding their hand, listening to them if they wanted to say something, giving them company. And he just said, you know, it's important for someone to be there, especially for those that didn't have relatives visiting. Actually, the staff, what happened in the end was the staff would wheel up these unwell ladies to him and ask if he would sit with them and give them company. So that was a very meaningful activity. So it really just takes a little bit of observational skills, insight from the staff, being prepared to be a little bit patient, to work with the residents, seeing where their skills are. And this is the way that a community can develop. When the dementia residents themselves are partaking in the community, helping in the community constructively, they feel a part of it, they're contributing, they put their own energy and effort and input into it. It creates a completely different atmosphere. Otherwise, if they're not doing that, it can have a hospital sort of a feeling to it. And it's much better when it's a community. Now, another meaning, a lot of the time people say, oh, folding tea towels or, you know, matching up socks or whatever. I didn't find, there was only one lady that enjoyed doing this, who found it meaningful, and she definitely did find it meaningful. She had confusion, direction orientation problems, so her cognition wasn't quite as high as the other people who ably helped, and she would fold tea towels all day long. Perfectly, she'd fold them perfectly, big piles of them. And when the staff brought the tea towels to her, it did settle her down when she was folding the tea towels for sure. But the problem was that she became aggressive. It settled her down in the sense that she felt she was doing something meaningful, but she started to become aggressive to the people right and left of her who weren't doing anything. And she'd call out, why aren't you doing something? You should be busy. You should be... Anyway, so that wasn't a help, but still it was better than nothing, I think. So I've written about these topics, residents' voice, residents' rise, all in these books, all the information, good read, good gift. Thank you for your looks, likes and views, everything in the description below. Thank you.